slaves. Now, here's the thing though. When you're talking about throwing money out like that, that becomes kind of first of all, it is done for PR, right? It's done to kind of it's like a stunt and flossing kind of action, right? It's like, look at me, look how much money I have. And one of the big things rappers got to look out for is you got to really think about how the black man is weakened and feminized and turned into a bitch by the fact that we don't have any wealth. Part of the reason that we get turned into slaves is because we don't have any real economic power. Part of the reason that the white man got his foot on your neck is because you don't have the economic power to create your own jobs, to control your own communities, right? So when you go and you say, I'm going to communicate my wealth by throwing my wealth away, that's just really not the healthiest way to show how well you're doing, right? So a lot of rappers will kind of do this. Like you look at, for example, I'll give you a good example, rapper Young Buck. I don't know if anybody knows give me a yes or no if you know Young Buck. Young Buck used to roll with G Unit. He was big back in the early 2000s. Young Buck was one of the biggest rappers out there, and his music was very good. He was very, very talented. He was right there with 50 Cent, and they had the G Unit clothing line, which was an excellent exercise in branding. I mean, they were on top of the world. And Young Buck, would show how much money he had by throwing it up. He talked about going to the club and throwing out money and spending, buying $1,000 bottles of champagne and all that. And now you got it right. Last time I read, Buck is in jail. He spent Christmas in jail, and now he's gonna be in jail till May, right? And it's so that's a big fall. That's a big fall. Right. And this is not about Blueface, though. This is not me talking about Blueface's future. I wish no ill will on him at all. I'm talking about the warning signs, the things we got to look out for in the culture. You see, black male culture, which is actually encouraged by white racist media. White racist media encourages black people to be stupid. It encourages you to do things that are going to hurt yourself. In fact, and people got mad at me and they kind of went off about it, but I don't care. I was talking about Saturday Night Live. And if you watch Saturday Night Live and you watch with a critical eye, look at all the depictions they have of black people. Most of the depictions they have of black people, like when they do Black Jeopardy, it's always something stupid. It's always something stereotypical. And I hope I can say this and still be loved, but I dare even say that Eddie Murphy, a big chunk of his career, not all of it, but a big chunk of his career on SNL was built off playing off the stereotype of the black man as ignorant, as a pimp, as a thug, as a thief, as a liar, as a piece of shit, as weak, as a joke. You see, and here's the deal. What you got to understand, this is king shit I'm talking to you about right now. The weak people are not going to get this. The punks are not going to understand this. The little bitches are not going to get what I'm saying. This is king shit here. If you're talking about king and queen shit, you'll never be the king, you'll never be the queen if people always think you're a joke. Like when the king is in the room, people don't laugh when the king is in the room. They don't start laughing when the king walks in the room. They get real serious when the king walks in the room. But if you're the joke, if you're the jester, if you're the comedian, then you make them laugh. And as Dr. Claude Anderson explained to you in Powernomics, the safest Negro in the world, in the minds of white folks, is the black man who makes them laugh. Because if you're telling them jokes and you're making fun of yourself and you're laughing about how pathetic your community is and you're celebrating how ignorant you are, then they're going to say, okay, we ain't got to worry about him. He ain't never going to really compete with us. He ain't going to try to take my money. He ain't going to take my woman. He don't want no land and property. He don't want no wealth. All he wants is a piece of chicken and a job, right? Like that's what it is. So you got to be careful about getting too caught up in the whole, like we want to always be funny type of narrative, because that actually makes you look kind of ridiculous to the world. You're not seen as a competitor. You're not seen as a threat.